It is 11:47 p.m. You have work tomorrow. You told yourself you would be in bed by 10. But here you are, phone in hand, flat on your back, one thumb moving on autopilot. You are not even enjoying it anymore. You have already seen a meme, a news headline, a workout video, a cooking clip, and someone's vacation photos. None of it was that interesting, and yet you cannot stop. You think the problem is willpower. You think you are just lazy, or weak, or too tired to make good decisions. But here is what you are missing. What is happening to your brain right now at 11:47 p.m. is not a personal failure. It is a biological takeover. Your brain has been quietly hijacked by one of the most sophisticated behavioral engineering systems ever designed, and it is using your own neuroscience against you. So what is your brain actually doing when you scroll at night? The answer is stranger and more alarming than you think. Here is the first thing to understand. You did not open your phone because you were bored. You opened it because your brain was hungry. Not hungry for food. Hungry for novelty. Your brain is wired to seek out new information. Psychologists call this the novelty effect. Every time something new appears in your environment, your brain releases a tiny burst of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical messenger in your brain linked to motivation, reward, and the urge to keep going. This system evolved for survival. 100,000 years ago, noticing something new in your environment could mean the difference between life and death. A rustling bush, an unfamiliar smell, a change in the sky. Your brain rewarded you for paying attention. Now that same ancient system is encountering an infinite feed of perfectly engineered novelty, designed by some of the most talented engineers on the planet, updated in real time, and personalized specifically for your weaknesses. It was never a fair fight. When you open a social media app at night, 3 separate systems get activated at the same time. The first is your dopamine reward system. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying how dopamine works in the brain. His research revealed something surprising. Dopamine does not just fire when you receive a reward, it fires most intensely when a reward is possible but uncertain. This is called the variable reward mechanism. It is the exact same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. You do not know what the next pull will give you, so you keep pulling. With your phone, you do not know what the next swipe will show you. Something funny? Something that makes you angry? A photo that makes you feel good about yourself or terrible? That unpredictability is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. A 2025 study published in PMC confirmed that the unpredictability of social media content directly activates the brain's reward circuitry, creating a feedback loop that is extremely difficult to interrupt on your own. The second system is your cortisol stress response. When you scroll at night, your brain is not just processing images and videos, it is processing information. And that information triggers emotional reactions. A political headline spikes your anxiety. A friend's vacation photo triggers a flicker of envy. A crime story activates your threat detection system. Each of these reactions causes your brain to release cortisol and norepinephrine, which are your body's stress and alertness hormones. Essentially, your brain interprets what you are seeing as if it is actually happening to you. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles decision-making and storytelling, stays fully engaged. It is analyzing, comparing, judging, worrying. It is doing the exact opposite of what it needs to do to prepare you for sleep. Dr. Kirk Parsley, a former Navy SEAL physician and sleep specialist, described this precisely. He explained that scrolling before bed keeps the brain in what he calls survival mode, with cortisol telling your body to stay alert and prepare to act, even though you are lying in bed doing nothing. The third system is your blue light suppression pathway. The screen in your hand emits what is called short wavelength blue light. Inside your eyes are special photoreceptors called IPRGCs, which stands for intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. When these receptors detect blue light, they send a direct signal to a region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is essentially your body's internal clock. That signal tells your brain one thing: it is daytime. Stop producing melatonin. A 2024 review published in Chronobiology Medicine confirmed that blue light exposure before bedtime suppresses melatonin production, delays your circadian rhythm, and significantly reduces both the quality and duration of your sleep. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. When your phone suppresses it, your body is no longer capable of naturally winding down, even when you finally put the phone away. So all three systems are running at the same time. Your dopamine reward loop is pulling you forward. Your cortisol system is keeping you alert. And your blue light pathway is telling your brain it is the middle of the afternoon. You are not tired because you are weak. You are not tired because you made a bad choice. You are not tired because some part of you wants to stay up. Your biology is being overridden by three simultaneous systems, all working against sleep at the exact same time. Now here is the part that most people never think about. You would assume the worst part of late-night scrolling is that it keeps you awake longer. But that is actually not the most damaging thing happening. The most damaging thing is what it does to the next day. Your brain does its most important work while you sleep. Memory consolidation happens during sleep. Emotional processing happens during sleep. Your prefrontal cortex, the decision-making, impulse control, long-term planning part of your brain, literally repairs and resets during deep sleep. When you lose even 1 or 2 hours of quality sleep, the prefrontal cortex becomes significantly less effective the following day. This is not a metaphor. It is measurable. Research has shown that sleep deprivation impairs the prefrontal cortex's ability to regulate the amygdala, which is your brain's emotional alarm system. The result is that the next day you are more impulsive, more reactive, more anxious, and less capable of making good decisions. Here is the part that closes the loop. What do people who are tired, anxious, and emotionally off balance tend to do at the end of a long, hard day? They pick up their phone to decompress. This is not a coincidence. The researchers who study this cycle call it the bedtime procrastination trap. Each night of poor sleep makes the next evening's scrolling more likely, and each night of scrolling makes the next day's performance worse. You are not choosing to scroll. You are caught in a neurological feedback loop that keeps resetting itself. There is also something happening to a deeper system in your brain. Researchers at London South Bank University have been studying what happens to the brain's default mode network when people engage heavily with social media. The default mode network, discovered by neurologist Marcus Rachel, is a system that activates when you are not focused on a specific task. It is responsible for self-reflection, imagination, processing your own emotions, and understanding your sense of self. When you scroll constantly, you never give this network a chance to activate. You lose the quiet mental space where your brain would normally process the day, make meaning, and find calm. Night after night, that space disappears, and you wonder why you feel increasingly disconnected from yourself. So what do you actually do about this? First, understand that willpower alone will not work. You are trying to resist three simultaneous biological systems using only your conscious mind. That is a losing battle. The solution is not discipline. The solution is friction and replacement. Friction means making it physically harder to start scrolling at night. Charge your phone outside your bedroom. Set an app time limit for 9:30 p.m. Turn on grayscale mode because a black and white screen is dramatically less stimulating to your dopamine system. When your phone looks boring, your brain craves it less. Replacement means giving your brain something else to meet those same needs, without the cost. Your brain wants novelty and calm. An audiobook gives you novelty with a low cortisol load. A physical book gives your eyes a break from blue light. Even 10 minutes of simply lying still in the dark with no input gives your default mode network the activation it has been starved of. These replacements feel less exciting at first because they do not deliver the same sharp dopamine spike. But that is the point. You are recalibrating your brain back toward a baseline where sleep is possible. There is one more shift worth making. The moment you feel the urge to scroll at night, notice it without acting on it. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman has described this pause as one of the most powerful tools for regaining control of habitual behavior. The urge is real. The craving is biological. But the 3 to 5 seconds between noticing the urge and acting on it is where your prefrontal cortex has a chance to intervene. That tiny gap is where control lives. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to quit your phone entirely. You just have to create enough space for your brain to remember what it actually needs. Think back to 11:47 p.m. You were lying there, thumb moving, not even enjoying it. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something very sophisticated was working on you. Your dopamine system was chasing uncertainty. Your cortisol system was mistaking a newsfeed for a survival threat. Your body clock was convinced it was the middle of the afternoon, and the part of your brain that could have talked you out of it was already too tired to resist. Understanding what is happening inside your brain is not just interesting, it is the first step toward changing it. The scroll does not own you. It just knows exactly how you work. And now, so do you. Thanks so much for watching. Drop a comment below and let me know what topic you want me to explain next. I read every single one.